Good morning. Good morning. I see a couple dudes in the house. I got to be the first dude up here. I am. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. I'm going to take these things off. So I just flew in from Las Vegas this morning. I don't live in Las Vegas. I'm in Las Vegas to hang out with my wife for a couple of concerts, and I flew over here to see you guys today, so I'm really excited about that. Yeah. So I've been involved in the network marketing profession for 35 years. Anybody in the room familiar with network marketing? Okay. Anybody in here involved in network marketing? Okay. So what's interesting, I haven't been in and out of the business. I've been engulfed in the business every day for 3.5 decades. And it's been truly life-altering. But I've been asked, dude, how have you been in this profession? In fact, I was on a radio show, I think it was right before that weird thing that happened in 2020 where we couldn't go anywhere. You guys remember that? And I get on this radio show, and they asked me, I'm like 10 minutes into this interview. I've done a bunch of podcasts and so on. And this guy says to me, he goes, how is it possible? Or he goes, what's the one reason why in 35 years of you doing network marketing, you haven't had a financial implosion? And I was like, well, I can't answer your question because the way you asked it. I said, I can tell you very clearly exactly why I've made money. It's not because I've got something super special that nobody else in this room or nobody else in network marketing has. It's because of two things. Number one is I never let a single day pass without doing some type of revenue producing activity. Okay? I mean, if you know anything about network marketing, if you're not prospecting, reaching out, inviting, exposing people to your business, to your products, and you're really not in the business. But more importantly than that, I learned a long, long time ago, and I don't remember, I wish I could, it's probably partially from my mother. I have my God rest her soul, my Sicilian firecracker mother, instilled a lot of great things in me. And one of the things, she said, if you're going to do something, do it right the first time. I actually learned that from cleaning the bathroom, and I didn't do a very good job of cleaning the bathroom, and she found a hair in the bathroom. And I had to do all of the bathrooms all over again. Needless to say, I never did an imperfect bathroom after that. Yeah, absolutely. So I learned early on when I got into network marketing, I wanted to be successful at it. It made sense to me. Here's this business model where you've got this product, you can share it with other people. You don't have to have a boss. Nobody's telling you what to do. There's no limits to the size of your income. You can earn a residual income on the production of all of these other people. And I thought, my gosh, this is brilliant. I was in the business opportunity meeting I was in, I was like, wait, everybody's doing this, right? And I think I was maybe one of 3 guys that signed up. I got started in network marketing in Irvine, California, going to what I thought was a job interview. I had no idea what multi-level marketing, network marketing, direct selling. I didn't know pyramids. The only ones I knew about were in Egypt. I didn't know anything about anything. And I saw the raw, beautiful concept. And so I've been in that profession ever since. Now, the last 18 years, I've been a professional speaker. I get invited to come in and speak at national conferences for network marketing and direct selling companies, sharing the strategies that worked well for me in the field. And what I want to share with you today is, look, if you want to be successful, you have to understand some very basic principles. And what I'm going to share with you today is all very fundamental. We don't have to complicate things in order to be successful. We don't have to make things more challenging, more difficult. Honestly, how many of you guys like simple? Anybody like simple? I love simple. And so very early on in my network marketing career, I learned this concept. And by the way, I love this. Love thy neighbor, building business through trust and respect. You can be a trustworthy, respectful, very successful person. There's people that get ahead the dirty way. I'm like the guy that wants to do it the right way, right? So when I go to bed at night, I can rest my head on my pillow and I know I treated people right. So one of the first things I learned, if we can go to the next slide, was that if you're going to be successful, you have to understand something. People buy from those that they like and trust. Now, again, I said what I'm going to be sharing with you today is very fundamental, but a lot of times people just skip over it and they don't actually really fully understand this. And I was like, okay, so if people buy from those that they like and trust, my objective is to be a likable and trustworthy guy. Now, trust is more than telling the truth. It's partially telling the truth. But what also is trust? Trust is consistency over time. So, for example, if you get me one day and I'm in a great mood, and then the next day I'm in a bad mood, and the next day I don't even know what mood I'm in, that's very inconsistent. You never know what you're going to get with me. But I learned, for example, to bring my game face every single day. Even if I was having a bad day, I learned a long time ago, like your cars, when you show up for the office, there's a lock on your door. You can lock your problems in the car. And we would walk into the office, and we wouldn't bring our problems in the office. And what was crazy is, although that was kind of you can't physically lock your problems in the car, I would go back to my car. It was like, I don't get out of here, problems. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to have to, this is just negative energy. So I learned that if you're going to be successful, and I don't care what business you're in, network marketing, you sell anything. How many of you sell something for a living, whether it's network marketing or not, okay? Whether we're selling a product, we're selling a service, we're selling ourselves, everything in life is sales. In fact, there's a great book by Tony Geary, if you haven't read it, it's called Life is a Series of Presentations. It's a fantastic book, and life is a series of presentations. What are we presenting each and every day when we're impacting other people? So if you understand people buy from those that they like and trust, then what we've got to do is do everything in our power to do things where people feel good about us. How many of you love giving money to somebody that you dislike? It's like, you got my money once, but you're never going to get it again. And it blows my mind how many professional people don't get this concept. Like, for example, the realtor that sold me the house that I live in right now, do you know I've never heard from her post-closing? Like, literally, not one time after we closed escrow have I heard from, not a thank you, not I appreciate the business, you're new to Bend, Oregon, can I give you a map? Can I tell you can I help you? Like, we knew nothing about Bend, Oregon, other than it was a really cool town. And what's interesting is I actually use her. I'll never mention her by name because I don't want to throw her under the bus. But she's like the example of what not to do in business. Like the simple art of just following up with somebody after a transaction. Not one mortgage person, not one auto salesperson. I can sit here and list off people I've done business with that after they got my money one time, I never heard from them again. I had a guy that sold me a pool fence one time before my kids could swim. So your kids don't fall into the pool. This is like when we moved to Scottsdale, Arizona. And I was talking to the guy as he finished the pool fence. I was like, hey, so how do you build your business? He said, referrals. I'm like, well, how do you get referrals? He goes, from you? I'm like, well, how do you do any kind of follow-up? He's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, 3 months from now, I'm not going to remember your name. It's not like your brand is on my pool fence. Like, your name is not on there. I'm going to be like, somebody's like, who put your pool fence in? I'm like, I don't know, some pool fence guy. I would never remember. So, again, the things I'm sharing with you today are so incredibly simple. They take very little effort, just a little bit of effort, but they can make the world of difference. Let's see the next slide, please. So, here's something. There's a great book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. How many of you have heard of that book? It's a terrible book, right? I mean, why would you want to buy a book with a title like that? How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm teasing, obviously. One of the greatest concepts in that book is this concept of being genuinely interested, not interesting. Now, we live in this world where people are, like, everybody's favorite subject is what? Themselves, right? My favorite subject is myself. Your favorite subject is probably yourself. That's just the way it is. But when it comes to doing transactions, when it comes to doing business, what we've got to do is get that person talking about themselves. The more that we can get them talking about themselves, everything that we need to know is going to be revealed to you, right? So, for example, network marketers are notorious for verbally vomiting on people. I mean, like the first time you get in, you find this amazing product, this life-altering product, and you're like, oh my gosh. Oh, my breakfast. No, I'm teasing. Right? And I mean, we've all been guilty of it. I've been guilty of it. But the crazy thing is, if you want to be better at anything in business, if you're providing an exchange of value, which is if you're selling something, whether it's a car, a service, coaching, network marketing, it's an exchange of value. And I've got to identify, your needs, your wants, your dissatisfactions, your desires. And how do I do that? By asking, right? Ask and you shall. We all know that. So, but the crazy thing is, people will call you up, or they'll be so excited that they're just going to tell. I got to tell you what I'm up to, and how great this compensation plan is, and how it's the best product that's ever been created since sliced bread. And you're sitting there going, you don't even know if I have a problem or a need or a want. I'm just telling you right now that, and by the way, you have to be very careful when you understand. Actually, let me give you two quick stories, okay? So when I travel, and I'm on an airplane probably 30 to 40 weekends a year, and I do business primarily with network marketing companies. So when I go somewhere, I see the logos. I can see the green and white or whatever the colors are. And if you're 50 feet away from me in an airport, I'll run up to you and go, oh, hi, Company X, right? And that's just who I am. I'm kind of social. I'll run up to you and I'll see the logoed bag or something like that. I'm on a plane one day. I'm flying back from Dallas to Seattle, and there's a woman in the middle seat behind where I'm about to sit, and she's got a logoed T-shirt for a network marketing company, and I say, oh, Company X, and she said, yeah. She goes, do you know about us? I said, I do. She's like, well, are you on our product? And I said, no. So she scoffs at me, and I was just like, and she starts pitching how it's bilated, chelated, nutrilated, cold processed, and I'm standing in the aisle, and I'm like, can I sit down, lady? I'm like, are you done yet? And I sit in the aisle seat in front of her. Now look, I'm pretty good at network marketing. There's people that are better than me, but let me give you just the slight difference so you understand the concept of being genuinely interested, not interesting. Here's a slight change. Company X, she's like, oh, do you know about us? I do. Well, how do you know about us? Oh, well, you're the very first network marketing company that I ever started with in 1989. Really? Are you still involved in network marketing? Yeah. Well, what company are you involved in? All of them? I mean, as a speaker, I'm speaking for all these different companies. And so what's crazy is she could have who doesn't swap a middle seat for a middle seat? She could have gotten 4 hours of free coaching from me. But instead, I just flew and never saw her ever again. Now, I'll give you another interesting story. So I'm on another plane. There's a dad on the window. There's a 7-year-old in the middle. And we get on the plane, and I'm having airplane chat. I'm like, where are you? I'm flying from Phoenix to Denver back to Seattle. And I was like, where you guys from Phoenix? No, we live in Denver. I'm like, cool. What were you doing here? Visiting Grandma. Grandma lives in Gilbert. My mother and father-in-law used to live in Gilbert. Do you guys know any of those one-up people that always have to one-up you? You know, oh, I know Gilbert. Let me tell you all about the town, the cross streets, and all the businesses, and let me dominate the conversation. I didn't do any of that. I'm like, hey. I'm like, oh, that's cool. My mother and father-in-law live there. I'm like, you live in Denver? Yeah. Are you a skier? Just rapport-building conversation. And the guy goes, yeah. I go, well, what do you do up there? He goes, I own a health company. And he goes, well, what do you do? And I'm like, I've got him trapped because he's on the window. I'm a network marketer. I'm pulling out my iPad. I'm pulling out the CDs. I'm like, here, sample this, lick this, taste this, shake this thing up, watch this video, this DVD. Did I do any of those things? No. Here's what I did. When he said, what do you do for a living? I said, listen, tell me more about your health company. That sounds really interesting to me. We're 45 minutes into the flight. I've never once interrupted him. I've never cut him off mid-sentence. And he finally turns to me and he goes, what do you do? I said, I'm a professional network marketer. And he goes, you're different. And I was like, I hope that's good. He's like, yeah. He goes, I know network marketing. He reaches into his briefcase and hands me his business card. He goes, I want to hear about what you're involved in. Do you see the difference? Like recruiting and network marketing, which is the hardest thing for most people, can be the easiest thing if you understand this concept of being genuinely interested, not interesting. Now, there's nothing wrong with being interesting, but God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth to spend twice as much time listening and paying attention, and then we can come back with a value add. Does that make sense to you? Okay, let's see the next slide. Oh, yes, your mission. You ever have a gossipy friend? And you go sit with them, and they're just talking about somebody else and maybe not so favorably. When you leave, first of all, you kind of felt icky, right? And then you're thinking, wait, are they talking about me the same when I leave? Are they doing exactly the same thing behind my back? If you can make it your mission in life that every exposure that you have to a human being, whether it's for business or not, that they leave feeling better having experienced you, you win. And look, I get it. We're busy. Life can be stressful. The world's a little crazy right now. God knows, we all know we need more God in the world, right? We need more God-loving men and women in the world, because I'm not going to go crazy up here, but it's weird right now. There's a lot of tension, and there's a lot of stuff, and God's being pushed out of everything. If we can bring joy and happiness to people, if we can make people feel good. I mean, think about that. If you just, like, my job, like, I get it. Sometimes, like, you're having a bad day, you're not feeling great, but how about this? How many of you have been having the greatest day of your life, and then you come home and your spouse wasn't? Or whoever. And all of a sudden, now I'm like, ooh, I'm all angry now. I'm like, wait a second, why do I have to let that rub off on me? And how many of you have been impacted by that? You're having a great day, and all of a sudden you bump into someone or something, and your whole life shifted as a result of it. Your day's now, and then it takes, for me, if I get into that kind of a mood, it takes me a while to shake it. But what if you became like water off of a duck's back? And you're like, oh, okay, I don't need to take that. Now, granted, my wife is amazing. I've been married for 27 years. We've been together for 31. I left her in the hotel this morning, soundly sleeping at 4 a.m. when I got up. 4 hours of sleep in Vegas. I'm here, 100%, right? But I just want you to think about this, like, and I want you to ask yourself self-reflecting questions, like, is this the way I'm living? Because it can be easy not to live that way. It can be easy to get caught up in ourselves and all the things that are going on in our lives. And it's not like if you're having a challenge that you can't share that challenge with a friend. But sometimes we've got people that all they do is bring the negativity and the drama. And it's just like, I mean, think about that. For like, you know, the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you have done unto you. Would you do you want to have somebody just bringing their negative stuff to you? No, you don't. Now, if it's a friend, it's like, I got to talk to you. Can I vent? But if every day is a vent, it's not a good thing, right? Look, my wife is notorious for it. I love it. I love her. I'm like, yes, you can vent. You can talk. You can just bring it all. Tell me about your day, and I accept all of it. But again, we're talking about, in this case, getting ahead in business. If you want to get ahead in business, it's not that hard, okay? People make it harder on themselves than they need to. They make it way more difficult. I know the first 2 years that I was involved in network marketing, I made it way more challenging than I need to make it. It just doesn't have to be that hard. And that's why, like, I can sit here and give you calculated conversion. I don't even know if that's a real thing. Is a calculated conversion? Any math people in here? That's just a word I made up. Is that real? Is a calculated conversion even real? Probably not. Oh, converter. Yeah. So, but instead, I like to keep things simple. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. Another thing. Very simple. Again, this is not incredibly challenging, incredibly difficult. But if we just underpromise and overdeliver, we've all heard that before. Are you underpromising and overdelivering in literally every aspect of your life? Who in this room has a job right now? Okay, cool. Now, what's crazy is a lot of network marketers like to make fun of people that have jobs, which I think is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh, J-O-B, just over broke. I'm like, what are you doing? You just insulted the very person you're trying to bring into your network marketing business. And that person, the funny thing is the person that's doing it is making like $2,000 a month in network marketing, and they're insulting a guy who's making $250,000 a year in his job. And you just insulted the guy. So if we just make it our mission to do more than is expected of us, like if you have a job, it's not that hard to get ahead in a job. You show up earlier, you stay later. Most people do the bare minimums. I was talking to Molly backstage. I'm like, I've never had a resume. I was like, are they still on paper? I literally have never made a resume. I had a job application when I was 16 and 17, but I've never had to put together a resume. It would be kind of fun just for a little joke to see if I can do it. I don't even know what I would put on there. Yeah, just a big blank right there. Like, I don't even know how I would describe myself. Worked at home for the last 35 years. Yeah, that's it. Hired, right? But like in a job, if you just like go the extra mile with a client, here's something. If you have clients, if you have customers, write this down. Wow them. In what ways can I wow my customers? In what ways can I make them go, holy smokes, what in the world? This is the greatest customer experience. If you understand the difference between customer experience and customer service is problem focused. When do you call customer service? When you got a problem. You don't call customer service. You're like, hey, I just want to say I love your product. Everything's amazing. I hope you're having a great day. I just want to call the customer service department. You call customer service when something is broken, it wasn't delivered on time, there's a problem with it. But you can prevent that by being more service focused. I had a guy I was talking to, what's he sell? I'm trying to remember. This is just a few days ago. He sells mattresses, and he's the #1 sales rep he's in the top 30 in the country for this whole mattress company. And the owner of the company is trying to figure out, well, how are you so successful at it? He goes, well, I call every customer after their purchase. He's like, no, don't do that. This is the owner of the company. He's like, no, stop. He's like, what are you talking about? Well, they might cancel. Yeah. I'm like, that's the owner of the company? That guy's not very smart. This guy's literally saying, don't follow up. He immediately follows up. He sends repeated, like, handwritten cards afterwards. He stays in contact with them, and like 90% of his business is all referral-based because he does that. But the owner of the company, which is not too mind-boggling, once you've been in business for a while, you realize that not everybody's got it together. But you can all have it together, right? And it doesn't have to be hard. Like this whole concept, under promise, over deliver, not hard. And can everybody in this room under promise and over deliver? Everybody can. It's not like, oh my gosh, that's too hard. How do I do that? I don't understand it. Can you explain it to me again, Todd? It's not hard. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. I want you to go to a bank Monday morning, and a bank that you don't have an account in. Go up to the teller and say, I would like to make a withdrawal. And she's going to say, well, can I have your account number? And you're like, I don't have an account. And she's going to go, are you robbing us? No, I'm not robbing you. I just would like to make a withdrawal. She's like, look, honey, let me explain this to you. You have to start an account. You put funds into the account, and then you can withdraw to the amount of funds that are in your account. And we all know that. Please don't go because you're going to go to jail, okay? So don't do what I just suggested. That was a joke. So what happens is, how can we expect to make a withdrawal from an empty relationship account? How can you do it? If the only time, and I want you to really clearly understand this, if the only time that you reach out to somebody is when you want something, you're most assuredly not going to get it. I'm just telling you, it happens to me. I got one guy in particular that over the last 15 years, he calls me about once a year to pitch me a new deal. Never once in between have I gotten a phone call. Like, hey, Todd, how's it going? I see you on Facebook. You look like you're having fun. What's going on? No relationship build. One of the things that I do more than anybody else is one of my greatest habits is, your phone. Take out your phone. Look at your phone. All those phone numbers in there that are either your clients or future clients or people that you may want to do business with, you got to be reaching out to them when they least expect it. Just say, what's up? How's it going? How are you doing? Not, oh, ... by the way, let me tell you about my thing. If you just reach out and actually show that you care, it's the greatest difference maker. I'm well known in the network marketing profession for being that guy that just stays connected with people. I am very connected to my network. Even the people that I don't do any business with, every week I'm reaching out, I'm texting, I'm calling, I'm staying connected. And if I were to ever come a call in to say, hey, look, I've got this business or I would like to come and speak for you, there will be massive reception to the message, which is very different from the people, and we have people like this, and you've done business with individuals like this, that the only time that they call you is when they want to renew the contract, do a new deal, get you to buy another color, get you to buy another thing of whatever it is, and it's not a good recipe for long-term business. I'm just telling you, if you understand, your job is to make emotional deposits into the accounts of people that you want to do business with. it'll be life-altering for you. Let's see the next slide, please. Okay, this is crazy. Now, let me pull out. You guys have phones? You guys have phones in LA? I know you do. Okay? Now, listen. How many of you have a guy in your phone or a gal in your phone like named Ted or Rhonda or Susie, and you have no idea who that is? Yeah, and the rest of you are lying to me right now. And that's okay. We're in church right now. You shouldn't be lying to me. You should be honest in here. So you guys want to change your mind? If you give me your phone, am I going to find some of you like, I don't even know who this person is? First name, Don. Really? Okay, all right, I believe you. I believe you. Most people, though, like 99%, I do this in front of thousands and thousands of people. And this is a habit. Like, here's the thing. If you're in any kind of business that's based on building relationship capital, when you put a person's name into your phone, I'm putting their first name, their last name, notes on them. You know, it's cool. You have a little spot for notes in there. How we met, who referred you to me, what your wife's name is, where you're from. Now, I'm not drilling them with 82 questions. Well, what's your favorite color? Who's your favorite band? Where are you from? Where did you go to college? Just through natural conversation, things that come up, we're talking about those things. And those are things that the human brain can't remember all those important things. They just simply can't. But if you put it in notes, and especially as network marketers, what boggles my mind is most network marketers don't do this. And this is a networking business. This is a business of making connections. If you sell anything, which everybody in this room probably sells something, this is a habit you want to be into. So just from this point forward, those of you, by the way, how do you get that person, that Dawn or Susie or Rhonda? You send Dawn or Susie or Rhonda a text. You say, hey, Rhonda, this is Todd Falcone. I don't know what Rhonda this is. How do we know each other? Who are you? Because they don't automatically end up in your phone. Oh, this is Rhonda Smith. We went to college. Oh, okay, cool. And then I can add notes. But from this point forward, especially, your greatest asset are the relationships that you have with your connections. And this is going to be a big difference maker. And I know that most networkers don't do this. Let's see the next slide. Okay, this is to me the great Grand Canyon separator. How many of you ever been in a conversation with somebody and you find out their hot button? You find out what they're into. They're into some band, and then blah, 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 they're talking about the band, or, oh, I love fly fishing, and they will talk about fly fishing for hours, or they're into whatever they're into. My sister's really into peppers, for example. If you get her talking about peppers, it's like hours of conversations about every kind of pepper imaginable. Well, when it comes to business, now I know my sister loves peppers, but if I find out what you're into, I'm going to put that note in my record, and then I'm going to spoon feed it to you. Okay, I'm a big downhill skier, okay? If you know as a big downhill skier, you're going to put that note in there, and you see some little 2-minute video about some crazy line that some guy's skiing. You're like, oh, Falcone would love this. Boom, copy, paste, send it to me. It's 2 minutes of entertainment for me, but what also it does, it makes me go, oh, you know me. The depth of connection that's created by feeding someone their passion, their conviction, is life-altering. This will literally create a Grand Canyon between you and anybody else that you might compete with. Yes, let's go to the next slide. Now, I know I'm jamming as much as I can in 30 minutes, so hope you guys are good with that. Now, this is another one. Not their birthday, not their anniversary, not Christmas, just a random surprise. And I'm not saying go buy your friends, but if you knew what I was into, and then you saw something immediately made you think of me, and you're like, I'm going to buy these $2.99 socks and send them off to Todd. It's not my birthday, it's not an anniversary, it's no important day, it's just a day, but when I receive that unexpected gift, it also significantly deepens the relationship. And again, this is all about building relationship capital. The more relationship capital that you have, the easier it is for you to be a magnet for business. Next slide. So, human beings have this innate desire to be wanted, needed, valued, and appreciated in the workforce, with our friendships, with people that we do business with. And if everything that you do as a business professional is designed to make people feel good. Like, for example, your boss at your job asks you to come in on a Saturday. You don't get paid on Saturday, but you still do it anyhow. Then you come back in on Monday, and he or she doesn't say anything about you coming in. Are you going to be likely to do it again? Probably not. You're going to be sick the next time. But even if you didn't get paid and they called you into the office and said, hey, look, I know you didn't get paid on Saturday, but we really appreciate you coming in. We would have never gotten this job done had you not come in here. And I just want to say thank you for really helping the team out. You just made me feel wanted and valued, even though I didn't make any extra money. Am I likely to do it again? Of course I am. So look, first of all, I feel so honored to be able to speak here for you guys today. Michelle, Bobby, thank you for having me out here. Thank you so much. You guys are on to something absolutely beautiful here. We need to make a big difference. And like I said, God needs to be present. God wants you to win. He wants you to be successful. And you guys all deserve success. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.